Going to do a review on the Dal Soggio sphere hydraulic cartridge inserts. I've had these now for about 7 months. I had them previously installed in my 17300 XCW. When I sold that bike, I decided that I was going to bring them over to this bike, which is a 19300 TPI. A lot of people don't know this, and I definitely did not know this as well, that the Explorer fork doesn't have a mid valve. When I first started riding the Explorer fork and getting used to the bike on the 17, I was really happy with how comfortable the fork was. But once I started to kind of get comfortable with the bike and push the pace, I started to notice that it was blowing through the stroke, bottoming out, and sometimes it was diving as I was coming into a corner, braking hard. Was looking for some options on what to do with that. Found out that the Explorer didn't have a mid valve, so found out about the XP-1 kit from Dal Soggio. Had that installed and was actually pretty happy with it. Held the fork up higher in the stroke, didn't seem to dive or blow through the stroke quite as easily. Had that for 5 or 6 months and actually was pretty happy with it. And then I started to hear about the Dal Soggio sphere hydraulic cartridge inserts, and had heard some reviews from some local guys in the area that were raving about them. Some pro level riders that were saying things such as how comfortable they were, that the small rocks and roots almost disappear. One guy had said that he had traded the cone valve out for the sphere once he had realized how comfortable and good the sphere was. And so started to pique my interest. Started to do some research online and honestly couldn't find a whole lot on the Dal Soggio spheres. Not a lot of reviews out there. And so I was really curious about them just from the good things that I had heard about them, and had an opportunity to pick a set up, and have been really happy with them. I've had quite a few different custom valve jobs done. Have ridden some buddies' bikes who they said that their suspension tuner was the best guy ever, and you ride their bike and you're like, wow, that's pretty good. And then you try somebody else's bike and you're like, yeah, that's decent. That feels pretty good. But I was interested in kind of just looking at what the options out there were to make the ride really comfortable and to have a lot of hold up in the stroke. I had tried out the KYB inserts. I'll do a review on those as well. I also had tried on a buddy's bike the Kreft revalve control. He has that installed in his 300 XCW, and that was a comfortable option as well. I've tried some open cartridge forks, had lots of custom jobs that were valved for me and my weight, and some Ride-Tek gold valve stuff. I've tried quite a few different options. Kreft Moto 4CS revalves, just different things over the years, and so I was really curious to try out the Dal Soggio spheres, and I'll tell you, I'm really glad that I did. The Dal Soggio spheres are really impressive fork cartridge insert. The machining, in my opinion, is second to none. 38 clicks of compression, really nice knobs on there, just really good quality work. And when I had these installed, my first impression was I was actually pretty blown away. They just stayed upright in the stroke, was nice and supple, just a really quality insert. And when I had them installed, Brian at Full Factory put his settings on there, what he had been dialing in, what he thought would be a good match for my weight and riding style. And to be honest with you, the first 10 maybe plus rides, I didn't even adjust the clickers at all. I did 3 full races on those forks in that setting before I even dialed any clickers in. That's how good they felt right from the settings he gave me, and I was really impressed with them. And then I started doing some other rides, some more rocks down in Moab, and wanted to kind of mess around with it and started adjusting the clickers. 2, 3 clicks, 4, 5 clicks, and just 3, 4, 5 clicks really made a big difference on the fork. Just really softened it up or firmed it up in just a few clicks, and I was really impressed with it. Just can say that my review is I've heard some really good things about cone valves and some other forks, and I've never ridden the cone valves, but I'll tell you, this is by far the best fork that I've ever ridden. It really comfortable fork, holds up in the stroke. And one thing I will say is it seems as if the harder you push this fork, the better that it performs. I will say that I don't know that I think that this fork insert is for everybody. The Explorer fork's a pretty good and comfortable fork, and then you're going to notice that it blows through the stroke because it has the lack of that mid valve there. So I was just looking to get into some options and see what was out there, and sure glad that I came across the Dal Soggio Sphere, that was recommended to me. It's turned out to be the best fork that I've ever ridden. I'm sure, you know, everybody will have different opinions about what works for them, but man, I'll tell you, I've never ridden anything that's as good. And so I hope this review is helpful. I couldn't find a whole lot of information about the Dal Soggio Spheres, but wanted to give my experience about what I've experienced with them. And I do think that they're a really great insert. I do hope you have yourself a great day, and take care.